What are we actually going to talk about, though?
I have no idea. We're just gonna have a conversation, just talk.
Yeah. Remember that time we had Wickens Wicked Reptiles on here, Adam?
Yeah, that was an adventure and a half to say the least. He was really nice though. He was a really chill guy.
Yeah. Like, I talked to him a bit on Facebook and stuff. Like, I won his 10K giveaway, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember you wore the shirt.
Yeah. And he didn't even notice.
Yeah, that was a
And
good
then
one.
we forgot to press start the stream
Oh
when I
yeah,
did.
we just started talking and it wasn't even live.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna actually kill myself if he doesn't show up.
Yeah, Rob has his own YouTube channel now as well.
Does he have his own YouTube channel?
Yeah.
No
Creep
way.
Rob is creeping it real. I'll put it in the link and yeah.
Holy moly!
Three,
I
only
didn't know he was on
328
YouTube.
subscribers.
Huh?
Better than ours, but yeah.
How many subscribers?
329 at the moment, including myself, who just like subbed right now.
Nice. I'll have to subscribe. Yeah, I mean, honestly, people like him, they grow really fast, you know? I mean, it's not hard for them to grow because they already have such a name.
Yep.
But yeah. Got any breeding projects coming up? I know you have the S. calciatum and the second OBT pairing.
Yeah. Second OBT, Stromatopelma. What? Hopefully, uh, I don't know. Vajovis spinageris. Paravajovis spinageris, even.
That would be cool, yeah. Honestly, though, scorpion pairings take years, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's nice. I really want one of those. Any Paraviajovis, honestly.
So I've paired scorpions before, like multiple times before.
Any success?
Only one time has been successful, and that was sometime last year.
What was it? Hegemetris.
Yeah, Hadrometris silenus.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
I've got one of the Scorplings actually. This one's going off to a new home. It's still pretty tiny. If I can grab it, it's being annoying. But that's it there.
Oh, that's. What mold is it?
Uh, third install.
Nice.
But yeah, this one's pretty cool.
Uh,
Do you have a favorite animal in your collection?
um, invert or reptile?
Uh, Inverts and then reptile.
My favorite invert would probably be my Hirudula membrancia, adult female.
Oh yeah,
That was my, yeah, not my first mantis, but like my first mantis for like since I got back into the hobby.
yeah.
Um, and then favorite reptile would probably be my Savannah monitor.
Uh,
Callum, I'll beat you, Callum. I'll hire a hitman. I promise.
uh, what is my favorite? I have quite a few actually, invertebrates wise.
Yeah. And what are they?
I'll quickly grab one.
Pulls out Dahani.
No, I'm not going to do that on stream. Actually, I might do later, but still.
Oh yeah, of course. Gotta get the good old Arminia. Yeah. God, I'm so waiting for my Arminia to freaking mature out. It's only like, I don't know, fourth instar maybe.
Did
Maybe.
you see that jump?
Yeah. Landed on your arm, right?
Yeah, it is.
So my dad was holding
Just jump.
my carpet python today, and my
Yeah.
dad decided to pet it, and it
Did it
just like
bite him?
no, it just like ran out of his arms, and he said it jumped. He said the snake jumped.
How can it jump? It doesn't even have legs.
That's exactly like in those exact words what I said to him.
Oh. Oh.
Gets bitten by Arminia on stream. That'd be amazing. Oh, all right. He's seen it. Let's go, baby.
This thing, like those jumps are insane.
You know, honestly, only one of my tarantulas jumps a lot, and that's my OBT, believe it or not. He's in Nerd right now.
Is he?
He just said, sign in just a sec. Sorry, I had a customer come in.
What?
Oh my God. Oh, dude, if Kevin McCurley walks by, I'll shit my pants.
It like honestly, just having Rob.
On is good enough, but holy shit. Okay, deep breaths.
Is here.
Oh, Ollie. He's alive.
It says device is not connected, Rob. So I don't know what's up with that. I'll quick. Is it okay if I kick you from the studio and then like re-add you because that's being
Yeah, no
weird?
problemo. That's fine.
Is that what he said?
No. It's fine. You can do it. You can kick me.
Can you tell him that something was saying that his device wasn't connected?
Tell him what?
His device isn't connected or something like that. Okay, there we go.
Is it working?
Yep.
Hey, man.
What's up? How's it going?
Good, you?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Sorry for the delay. I had
No
a
problem.
buddy come around who is he's not been in the area for a while, so he just like was coming to pick up rats, and it's a long ordeal.
Oh, no problem, dude. That's fine.
How you guys doing?
Welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, it's all good. Like to have fun.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Ben, you want to start it off? I don't know.
Yeah, so we've invited you on to talk about your favorite snake, the Burmese python.
Oh no! Okay, that's it. I gotta leave. That's it. That's a wrap. I'm done.
No, but on a real note, yeah, I guess we're just gonna talk about some reptile things. I mean, first thing, it's pretty clear you're a nerd right now.
Yes, yeah, I am. I'm at the evil morph god's lair.
Right.
I'm in all the ball python rooms right now, so like this whole wall is all ball pythons.
Ooh.
All the way down. And
So-
then opposite side is like young females and stuff that we're raising up.
Nice. So I saw on one of Nerd's videos, like I forget when it was, but a while ago, on like some of the hybridization projects you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Were any of those a success?
We're still waiting on eggs from the hognose snake to corn snake. We bred them last year, but they didn't throw any eggs. The female didn't cycle. The milk snake, king snake hybrids, those guys produce every single year, and we got tons. We've got a lot of those. We've got a ton of them. Trying to think of what other ones. The anacondas with the boas, they've been like courting and stuff. We haven't seen any locks just yet. Boas take forever. They court for like weeks and weeks and weeks before they actually breed sometimes. So we haven't gotten any locks out of them, but they've been courting. The diamond python to the green tree pythons, I've seen like 2 or 3 locks from them. But green tree python females, it's kind of tough to get them to ovulate sometimes. So I'm not counting any of those eggs until they hatch.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the bat eater project with the cow retic to the albino berm, they've been locking up a bunch. So I would expect to see some eggs from them this season.
Those are cool. Bat eaters, they look so nice.
They're wild looking.
They really are. I forget, are bat eaters a wild hybrid? Like, I feel like I've heard of those being wild, but I can't really remember.
I don't know if they've been documented in the wild. I know that they got really popular when we started doing them.
Right. Because I remember there was this photo that circulated around. I don't know if it was actually a Borneo bat eater. My mind says it was, but of a bird hanging from an electrician wire with a bird in its mouth. That might have been a Morelia.
Python or something, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my mind kind of decided that was a Borneo bat eater, I guess.
The bat eaters are cool, but they just like the area. I don't think there's much range where they overlap naturally in the wild.
Right. Yeah, also with the whole thing of Burmese pythons being like super endangered.
Yeah,
Wild.
like the Indian pythons as well. They're just like their numbers are dwindling in the wild.
Yeah, it's really sad, honestly.
Yeah. So what do you guys keep?
Say that again?
What do you guys keep? What do you got?
I keep a decent amount of inverts, centipedes and tarantulas and stuff like that. I have a tegu, I have a savanna monitor, boas, corn snake, carpet python,
Cool.
tortoises, some kind of simple stuff like that.
Word.
Yeah. I'm primarily invertebrates with obviously ball pythons, basic beginner reptiles, and then an Amazon tree boa.
Cool.
Garden
What's your
locale.
favorite genus of tarantula?
Favorite genus, Tarantulads.
Terrafosa.
Yeah.
Therafosa. Okay.
Yeah.
I got
those are like classic.
Yeah.
Pokies. Yeah. Right now I have one poke. I have a Poecilotheria regalis sling.
Regalis is my first.
Yeah. My first was actually a Metallica.
Was it really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it was my second tarantula ever as well.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. My first was Ornata.
I got a bunch of Ornata right now. I love them. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah, but my main thing when it comes to inverts is centipedes.
What's your favorite?
You got to go with Scolopendra galapaguensis. Those are classic. I don't own one, sadly, but I would love to.
Hardwick Eye are my favorite. I can't get over those colors. They're just
Those are
amazing.
wicked.
Yeah.
The centipede I have the most experience with is Polymorpha. Those are,
Yeah.
I've been working with that species for like 6 years now.
Nice. I'm planning a trip to go to Arizona next year, and I want to try and see if I can get some heroes.
Ooh, I've caught a lot of those.
They're so cool.
Right now I live in the Netherlands, but like 4 years ago, I lived in LA for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I could find like Polymorpha in my garden, and in a couple-hour drive, I could find heroes. So
Badass. Love it.
those are wicked. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite centipede, species white leg. I saw a nerd video on them, and they were wicked.
That thing was huge. It was really big.
Yeah.
Species white leg are massive. I mean, aren't Gigantea the largest centipedes, or is it Galapaguensis?
It's a toss-up between those. A lot of people go with the Galapagos or whatever. But I mean, they're the biggest ones I've seen in person. It would be the white leg ones.
White legs are wicked.
Yeah.
I saw one for sale, I think maybe 2 months ago, and I wanted to pick it up so bad, but it was like 350 euros, and that's like
Ridiculous
out of my price range, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last ones we had, we sold for like 400, 500 US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The white legs seem to be the most expensive of all the South American giants, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from true Gigantea, if you're going to find them.
If you can find them, yeah.
That's true. I've never seen a Chugigentea available.
Me either. At least not in a very long time.
I mean, I've seen people with them in their collection, but I'm like always thinking like, where did you get it? You know, like
Brown boxed it basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's literally centipedes. So they're pretty much all brown box.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being completely honest, like 90% of inverts that are in the hobby are illegal from the base, you know? I mean, whether they're illegal now or whether the imports that come in now are legal or not, like the origin are all pretty much illegal imports.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like the stuff with Brazil 2 years ago where they the Typhoclina celedonia, where they were like, where did you guys get those things? They're endemic to Brazil and we've never legally exported them. And then it launched that whole investigation into the U.S. Invert hobby, and Brazil came out with a list of like 100 species that are all never legally documented to be exported from Brazil, and all this crap. Like that was bad,
Yeah.
really bad.
I think it was it the Linothele megalithoids that was like really imported, Ben? I think you would know more about this.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the Linothele species.
Yeah, those were like really heavily brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, right now, pretty much all of my animals are captive bred, except for 2 of my Scolopendra dahani.
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay as far away from wild caught inverts as I can because I just don't know the origin, you know.
Have you sexed them yet?
I sexed one of them. It's a female. The other one I was trying to sex, but it woke up mid thing, and I was like, I don't want to put it through too much stress, so I just put it back in, and I'll sex it sometime in the future.
Yeah, when we had the white legs at the store, I had a lot of people who wanted to buy them, but they wanted me to sex them, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm not risking it with a $500 centipede. If you want to do it after you get it, that's cool. But I never did it before, so I'm not
when it
interested.
comes to the South American giants and any of the New World centipedes, my preferred way of sexing would just be pinning them and just do it while they're awake.
Or if you can catch a molt.
Or if you can catch a molt, but that's so rare because they usually molt in the middle of the night, from what I've seen.
Yep.
But yeah, pinning them. That's what I've done with pretty much all my New World centipedes. South American. Asian centipedes, on the other hand, I would never dare to pin them. And I mean, I just got a bite from one of my dahani 2 days ago.
Nah.
It was gnarly bad, man. I mean, Jesus, the whole thing turned like purple, and it was like
not for me. Yeah. I've never been bit by a tarantula. I've had tarantulas my whole life. I've never been bit by a tarantula. I'm usually pretty careful when it comes to all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I would say I'm not very careful when it comes to centipedes. I mean, I've been bitten so many times at the point I usually don't really care, but Asian centipedes are just the one I'm like, they shoot some fear into me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had dry bites off of Scolopendra dahani, and that's painful enough.
Oof, just mechanical damage is enough to make you not with it.
I mean, I don't know if I got full envenomation from the dahani because, I mean, the wound is pretty much healed up after a couple days.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have more lasting damage if it was full, but I definitely got a decent dose. I mean,
oof.
Yeah, they're scary, but at least they can't climb smooth surfaces. Like I've got my Stromatopoma calceatum adult female ended up on my back yesterday during a rehouse, and they've got that's I handle most species of tarantulas, not intentionally, but that's one I definitely try not to touch.
Yeah, for real. Oof, that is. I've never even owned one of those. I just have no interest. They're too much, just too much.
I got a bite from like a 2 centimeter Heteroscodi maculata.
Oof.
And even at that size, it hurt. Like it was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. So what kind of stuff did you guys want to talk about? Let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of a big thing would be mainly reptiles because that's mainly what Nerd works out. And me and Ben, we do work with a lot of reptiles, you know.
Yeah.
I definitely had a lot of questions about like the monitor lizards because I'm really into the big lizards. I only have 2 right now, but definitely in the next years or so, I really want to get some Asian water monitors and Argus monitors. I guess I was just kind of wondering, like, you guys, out of all the monitor breeders, seem to be the most successful on a large scale, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of people who are breeding monitors on a large scale. There's a couple guys like Mike Stefani.
Right.
He works with like the Mertens water monitors. He does the
Right.
Cumming guy. He works with
Ackies a lot, right?
yeah, and he's got a lot of success. He's an incredible guy, and he does some really cool stuff. There's John Adragna out of New York who does a lot of the weirder monitors. He's got coming out. He's got Nuchalis. He's got lace monitors, and
Nuchalis are wicked. I absolutely love those.
they're amazing. They're so cool. I was just talking to him about them the other day, and I was like, man, those things are incredible.
Does
Absolutely.
Nerd have any?
Cool. We don't have any Nuchalis. Anything that like might have any sort of like questionable lineage as to where it came from legally, we generally just stay away from it because we do a lot of exporting. We work a little bit with zoos and other things like that. So if we can stay away from stuff that might be traced to, you know, illegal exporting or all that sort of stuff, we try and stay away from it.
Right. I mean, that would be a risk to the business.
Exactly. So the Nutalis, we really have let other people take the reins on that. The Mertens water monitors, we've kind of stayed away from those. We only just got lace monitors within the last year or so. We really haven't had lace monitors all that long. I'm trying to think of what other kind of weird oddball stuff. We just got some crocodile tegus, which are pretty cool. But we've got all the documentation from where they were legally exported. So that was one that was like, we didn't want to get it unless we knew that it was good to come in and we wouldn't get hassled over it.
Right.
But we do a lot of water. We have 2 full incubators, like stand-up fridges that are 7 feet tall, that are turned into incubators. We have 2 of those that are completely full to the top with monitor eggs. We've got over, I think, 300 or 400 monitor eggs incubating right now.
Jesus, that's awesome. I mean, I think the next monitor on my list would definitely be a Argus monitor. I think they're unique when it comes to the monitors, the way their behavior acts, the way they behavior works.
We have 5 eggs of Argus monitors incubating right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I bred them.
Do you guys do any work with?
And then we just bred them again.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you guys do any work with Savannah monitors? I know a while ago, didn't you guys have a few albinos?
Yeah, we did. Kevin sold off that project because there was somebody who was more interested in doing it, and we just need the space for water monitors because we're best known for water monitors. So we don't work with breeding the Savannahs right now, but we do have some like captive born babies in right now.
That's cool. Yeah, I would really love like maybe a few years down the line to try and breed Savannah monitors because those there's something about them is like so different than other monitors. I don't really know what it is about them, but like mine's a total asshole and I can't work with them at all.
They're knuckleheads. They definitely don't have a lot of the smarts that like water monitors have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem more like if a tegu and a bull made a baby, that's kind of what you would have, you know?
Yeah. I know 1 or 2 people in the US who have bred them before. But most people haven't even seen like a full grown adult Savannah monitor in person because they're not like a lot of people just see the little tiny ones at the expos and they're like, oh, it's like this little tiny monitor lizard. And it's like, nah, they actually get to be like pretty good size around and, you know, 4 foot long for the males and like 4.5 foot. I've seen some that are like almost pushing 5 feet. So they're a sizable lizard.
Yeah, I've seen some really big ones. I saw one that was I think like 5 foot 1 inch, and it was like enormous male.
When they're that big, they look really cool because the babies, it's one thing. You're like, oh, look at this little like T-Rex looking thing, and then you see a big one, and you're like, dang, that thing's muscle.
I love their eyes, like their red eyes. It's so cool. I My Savannah monitor is actually captive bred from a guy in Germany. And then I know one guy, I think his name is Dean Chapman, I think his name is. And he's had some decent success with Savannah monitors.
Cool.
We need more captive bred of the species, because I feel like once we get some good lineage down and we get some, like, I don't know, 4th generation Savannah monitors, like, then we can start seeing not only more success in their care, but more success captive breeding and behavioral wise.
Yeah, I think that if they start selectively pairing animals for better temperament, you're just going to see that come out better.
Yeah, that's what Nerd's done with the water monitors, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of that with our water monitors, where we've kind of just picked out the best behaved animals and then continue to breed those ones. We are working with some that have, temperamental issues. We usually pair those animals that are more afraid of people with animals that are really good, so that the offspring end up somewhere in the middle. And usually, if you're nice to them, you can kind of win them over.
Right. Yeah. I when I was like first getting into reptiles, and even just, I don't know, 3 years ago, like, I never really thought like genetics played a part in the behavior of a reptile. I mean, I didn't even know you could really socialize reptiles, but I mean, upon learning more, it's really interesting. I would love to like really start selectively breeding like the more aggressive monitors, defensive monitor species like Argus monitors, Savannah monitors.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff like that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think altogether there needs to be more captive breeding of monitors in general, because it's easier for people to get them wild caught, but is it best for them to get it wild caught? And that just needs to be brought up with everything pretty much. Like,
yeah, I think that the biggest issue that faces for monitors is that the barrier for entry is really high, like cost wise, because most monitors get to be a decent size. You need to have a proper enclosure for them. Get really hot basking spot. The feeding of them, the care, it generally is pretty expensive. So for most people, if they're looking at it from like a cost benefit analysis area, it's not worth it for a lot of people, especially where the margin for sales is kind of lower. Because like if people see a captive bred Savannah monitor for, let's say, $300 or $400, and they're at an expo, they're gonna look over at the one that's $25 or $50, and they're gonna go, okay, why am I spending 10 times more for this one over here when I can get this? What they're seeing is the same exact thing for a tenth of the price. And it's one thing when you're a nerd and you've got like this giant reputation and people already know who you are and blah blah blah. But for the average person who doesn't have like a following already, or is not sharing this like continued information with people, it's really tough for them to be able to sell at that higher price point to make it worth it. Because even at $300 or $400 a baby, for if you're breeding Savannah monitors on any sort of like a scale, if you had 6 to 10 animals, you'd probably just be breaking even as far as like cost goes. After you're done paying your heating bill, your lighting bill, your food bill, for all those sort of things, it's really expensive to do it in general, which I think is keeping most people out of breeding monitors.
You also have to look at the kind of percentage of the people buying the monitors, right? Because I'm sure a very large percentage of the people buying these monitors are people who, haven't done a lot of research in the difference between wild caught and imports and captive bred, and or just generally don't care. They think they can handle, they want the challenge with a wild caught or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would say probably half of the people buying monitors are like that. I haven't really researched it much, but if I was to guess. And that is why I don't think imports are going to stop anytime soon.
I think that it depends, because with the coronavirus, the U.S. was talking about signing a law that would allow the federal government to regulate and hold the importation of any animals that could be considered food or medicine. So if any of those monitors were considered food in anywhere where they're found, technically the U.S. like federal government could have regulated them to keep them from being imported. And if that happened, it might not stop it from happening in Europe or in Asia, but it would definitely stop it from coming into the U.S. And like that's something that we've been watching really carefully recently, because the way that it was worded was very vague and kind of like overarching. So if something like that went through on a international level, that could like shut down just about everything. It would be really, really detrimental to people, getting in animals and breeding animals, especially stuff that's not established in the hobby.
Yeah, because I know for a fact some monitor species are considered food items, and like especially with the US seems to be a lot more chill on how no, seems to be a lot more firm on how they get animals, whilst Europe at least we can get anything illegally pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially inverts. I mean, that's a huge problem here, is illegal importation of inverts. I mean, even species like I don't know, let's say Grammostola rosea, or Brachypelma hamori, you could still find imports of those, even though captive breeding is pretty readily available.
Yeah. So the importing thing, I don't know what direction that's going to go in, but in the next year, we're probably going to see a big change in what happens with that, because as they're doing more research on coronavirus and like all the other strains that are going around and everything, if they find a way to federally or internationally regulate for, animals that could be considered pathogens, they could shut down almost all of the importation of exotics.
Yeah, like literally most animals even.
Yeah, pretty much anything, because in some part of the world people eat just about everything. Like not every place has got McDonald's and Burger King and regular stuff at a grocery store. There's a lot of people who are just living off of the things that are in their area, so they have to eat whatever they can catch, whatever birds, whatever reptiles, bugs, anything. So that, like, when I saw that regulation get proposed, I was very concerned for what might end up happening should it go through.
Yeah, it is going to be particularly hard. I think it's going to impact everywhere because obviously the US has quite a large impact on everywhere with how they do things. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm. It's just like the way that the U.S. hobby does things. When Brazil came out with that proposed ban of inverts, that they were saying, hey, look, these are all endemic to Brazil. They've never been legally exported. We don't have any documentation of them being legally exported, but the U.S. hobby has got them in large numbers. They released that list and they said, look, you're not supposed to be breeding, keeping, buying, or selling any of these species. But the U.S. hobby basically.
Sorry about that. My Wi-Fi cut out.
It's all good.
Right.
The U.S. hobby kind of just looked at that and was like, okay, we'll stop selling those things for 5 minutes. And then, 2 months later, they were back to selling Brazilian blacks. And now they just relabeled them, the Queerora or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that they're not technically pulchra. And it's just like the U.S. hobby. In some ways it cares, like the federal government cares, and then there's some ways that just don't care. Like I don't think that tarantulas are high enough stakes for the federal government to get involved.
Yeah. Like, tarantulas make the reptile hobby look tame. There's so much crime going on with invertebrates.
Yeah, it's really wild, and the further that it goes, the further that it gets taken, the harder it's going to be to kind of reel it in, because if you've got one person who's got Typhoclanosoledonia, then it's easy to go, okay, that arrest that person. But when 1,000 people have now purchased them, it's much harder to enforce that and have any sort of lineage back to where it originated from.
Yeah,
Right.
and especially for the Caledonia, like we've had new species hit the UK recently, the Bonatina species from Mexico, and they're not really in high demand because it's not as colourful as a Caledonia, and especially how people market them. More people are going to buy them if they find a heavily saturated, really blue picture of a Caledonia, when in fact they don't really look that good.
Yeah, it's like the Chilobrachys species electric blue. It's like it's a mostly brown spider, and then you hit it with the flashlight like just right, and then you're like, oh, I see the blue. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it depends on who you ask what a Caledonia is to them, basically. Some people it's just a trapdoor, arboreal trapdoor, and then you've obviously got people that really want them for some weird reason.
I don't get it. I literally don't
Yeah.
get it. I'm like, I get that it's colorful, kind of, but it's like this big around. It lives in an arboreal like trapdoor situation, so you never see it. So what?
How big are
What's
the adults, by the way?
They're
They're like
small. They're like that big, like
yeah,
under 2 inches. Yeah.
6 centimeters across for an
Jesus.
adult female.
That's like
Yeah.
a dwarf spider. That's like a mega dwarf spider. You know, even normal dwarfs aren't that small. I feel.
Yeah.
If you want a good looking arboreal spider that doesn't go to the sizes of most theraphosids, get a jumping spider.
I was just gonna say, just get a jumping spider, and you'll actually see it all the time, and they're much
Yeah,
more interesting. They like actually have stuff going on, and you can see them do stuff. The Celedonia, it's like, oh, I want to see my really cool, colorful, tiny spider. Let me grab some tweezers, peel back the web on its little tunnel. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. And it's like, I don't get it.
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of just like people go, "Wow, what's that box of dirt you have there?" Oh, that's
Yeah.
my €100 spider. It's about this big.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would still love to own one. Like if someone said, like, "Hey, here's a €25 T Caledonia," I'd pick it up. You know, I
yeah.
feel like I'd be
I probably
stupid not
wouldn't.
to.
I
But
don't like the tiny, tiny, tiny. Like the only species that I like that's really tiny are the Seriocosmus stuff, like the Seriocosmus rite and the elegans and stuff. I like
yeah,
those.
those are cool. I also
Yeah.
like Cochiana brunipes.
Brunipes are
Yeah.
okay.
I like their kind of darker colors.
I
I'm a
like
fan of
stuff
that
with
stuff.
contrast. If it's got like lots of pattern and contrast on it, that's the stuff that really gets me going. If it doesn't have a lot of like
Yeah.
pattern or contrast, I'm usually like, whatever.
I'm a
It's
fan
not
of like
a
kind of that basic look, you know? I don't know why. I
yeah.
think it's
If you like Theraphosa, then yeah, this Theraphosa are just the basic brown tarantula.
yeah.
Besides,
I would totally own a Terrafosa right now, but they are expensive, man.
yeah. Let me see if I can move here real quick, and just show you because I have a Theraphosa in the other room that is like pretty big. I just set her up in our cave room.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
how to change my camera around. Let me see if I can change it around. Hold on. Maybe not. Hold on. Raising back. Okay, so I got her in this corner tank right here.
That's
It's
cool.
probably like maybe 1.5 meters across, maybe a little smaller than that. But where is she? Oh, she's hanging out right there. Close over there.
Can't really see her.
She's kind of dark in there. Hold on, let me see. I don't know where I've got a flashlight up.
So that's the room where Lilith is in, right?
Yeah, Lilith is right in there.
I had a question about the room. Like, how does that room work? Because there's just like dirt on the floor. Like, is it just like
Yeah, this room has got like probably 5 inches of mulch and dirt on the floor because it comes down. Hold on. Okay. So this is regular floor underneath here. It's just like a cement floor. And then
Hey,
we
Adam.
filled the rest of the room in with mulch and dirt. We got tortoises in here during the winter time. These guys are having a good time. We got the rhino iguanas hanging out in here. They knocked over our fan. That's cool, I guess.
I love rhino iguanas so much. I want one so bad.
They're pretty cool. They got a lot of personality.
Yeah.
We got the tortoises hanging out in here. We got like sulcatos, Herman's tortoises. We've got marginated tortoises, leopard tortoises, redfoot tortoises, Russians. I don't know. We got a ton of different stuff in here. And then we got Lilith up in here. We got some American alligator babies in here.
That's cool. Yeah, rhino iguanas kind of remind me of, well, a rhino tegu, I guess, if I was gonna put it like that.
Yeah.
Paleosuchus.
Yeah. Come here.
Oh, that is beyond wicked.
This guy loves hanging out with me. Hold on, let me see if I can get him. Come here. Come here, boy. Look, come on, right on there.
That is like when I move houses and I'm living by myself, like I am getting a dwarf caiman.
It's the wild ones definitely don't let you touch them like this.
I know, like I would. Oh man, I would literally do anything to own one. That's like ultimate dream reptile for me. That is.
Yeah, as Adam said in the chat, reptile room of all reptile rooms is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this guy. This is one that I helped raise. He's like maybe 5 or 6 years old right now.
Adult?
So,
Or sub-adult?
no. The adults are probably 3 foot longer than this.
Right. Male?
Oh, sorry. He said he's about 5 to 6 years old.
Right. And male, I'm guessing?
Yeah, this is a male.
Awesome. God, I love their eyes. Like that is the main thing for these guys for me is their eyes are just, it's like, I don't know, man. Something about it. And I'm guessing that's all universal rocks, like the.
This is actually stuff that Kevin built himself. This is
Really?
Yeah, this is not from any other company. He made a wood frame, then did wire on top of it, and kind of blasted it out and painted it himself.
That looks really professional.
Yeah,
Looks good.
Yeah,
all trades.
that's one thing that I love about Nerd. It's a lot of places are half-assed with how they do things, but you guys do it properly and you do it right.
We're trying.
Yeah, definitely.
We're definitely trying.
I mean, I also feel like, because Nerd is very popular among reptile people,
Yeah.
I mean, if you keep reptiles and you mention the word nerd, you know who they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like when you have such a big, I want to say following and people who know you, like if you do things half-assed, like your business is going to crash.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's still people who are. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get my camera though. Maybe. Hold on. I think froze real quick. Hold on, my camera just froze real quick.
Oh.
Yeah, his camera just froze, he said. So just whilst Rob is sorting that out.
Oh, that is. Maybe we can go through the comments for a second. Oh.
Yeah. So
Callum, yeah, I'm absolutely sitting like that. Is Child of Arachne, is that Headley?
No, that's Heather. That's one of my friends from the exotic creature community.
Hello, Tony. Amy, hi. Adam, hello.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. My whole thing just was like, nope, not happening.
Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who are watching us for whatever we do, and there's a lot of people who don't really like some of the stuff that we do. And it is what it is. There's always areas where you can improve and do better, but we try our
Right.
best to really make things as best we can.
Yeah, I also think like if you have more of a following, like there's gonna be people who for some reason think you need to be perfect, you know?
Yeah, no one's perfect, man.
Exactly. Especially when you're keeping animals, you know? It's impossible to be
Mm-hmm.
perfect, I always say.
And
Oh,
Girl, she actually
so
just
how are
laid
your
eggs.
guys' enclosures built? Like, um, because I really like the way you guys build your enclosures, the way they kind of have that modern look to it, I want to say.
Yeah, so these ones in here, these are made out of PVC board, and they're all custom built. So this one on the end is probably 12 foot by 6 foot, and it goes all the way to the ceiling. So what? That's 8.5 feet or something like that. And these
Hmm.
smaller stalls for individual females, these ones are probably 4.5 feet by 6 feet by what, 8.5 feet tall. And they've got areas where they can climb up to the basking area. They've got a big water basin that's got a drainage system our into our septic system, and very deep substrate. This is like probably 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches deep substrate.
Are you looking for eggs right now?
Yeah, I think that they might have already pulled. What day is today? Oh yeah, today's the 28th, 29th. Okay, so they pulled eggs from her yesterday.
Oh, okay, nice.
She had 24 good eggs and 0 slugs. And she's a het black
That's some
dragon.
nice
She was bred
fertility.
to a visual black dragon. Her name's Boo Boo. She's really good. She's super friendly.
So what? That means 75% of the offspring would be black dragon visual?
I wish they were 75%. For some reason, we only get like probably 30% end up being visual. It's supposed to be like half and half, but we usually only get like a third of the babies coming out visual black dragon.
Hmm. So then I'm guessing that black dragon is recessive. Or is it
Yeah, it's kind of like a recessive. It's
right?
the hets are visual hets, so they're kind of a darker animal, but not they're not normal looking.
Right. So how does it work? Because I know there's in Island, is it, with wild
Yeah,
black dragons?
yeah. The Komani Island is wild black dragons, and it's a higher percentage. It's not 100% black dragons, but it is a higher amount of black dragons than your normal. My thing froze again. Hold on, real quick. Which direction is the camera facing? Me or the other way?
It's
Yeah.
facing you.
Okay, cool. So then let me just do this because I'll just deal with it. Got some little baby black dragons right here. These guys just hatched 2 days ago.
Wicked.
So these are fresh
Oh,
little
that's
baby
so
black
cool.
dragons. And this is from breeding a black dragon to another black dragon.
Right. So 100% of the babies then, right?
Yeah, all the babies end up being black dragons. So the Kamani locality, most of the animals from that island are black, but there are some that are not. They're probably all like het black dragon or whatever. And so when we bred black dragons to non-black dragons, we produce these like darker looking animals, but they still have patterning and a little bit of yellow to them. And then we breed those together with black dragons. But like I said, it's only about 1/3 of the babies will come out visually black dragon, and then the rest would be like het black dragons.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, even though like you hate Burmese pythons, you guys still have some Burms in Nerd, right?
Yeah, we got some Burms. We've got a couple juvenile ones and a couple bigger ones. Some black dragons are a little bit older. Come here, you.
God, I wish I could do that with my Savannah monitor. He'd probably tear me to bits. I mean,
Some T positive albinos.
That's
53.
53.
It's like, no, don't put me down.
This gets shipped out of here to sell because this was cracked open.
Buy one get 6 free.
Buy one get 6 free.
Don't listen to him. Watch that. You hear that? It's super fun. Read about it? Nah.
Look at you, cutie patootie.
Yeah, we do have some burms here. We got a couple big albino burms. We got some normal babies. We've got some leucistic babies. I think we got one leucistic baby. We got some hypos. Here we go. Lucy berm.
That's awesome. That almost looks ivory.
Yeah, where it's like kind of got a little bit of yellow on the back there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Probably my next big snake would definitely either be a super dwarf retic or something like a scrub python if I could find it.
I love scrubs. They're my favorite, but they're definitely not for everybody because they can mess you up.
Yeah. We've got a few scrub pythons in the UK now, but yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Lawrence.
seen a few scrub pythons for
Kensington.
sale over here. Not cheap, but I've seen a few.
Yeah, Lawrence is breeding them over there, and he's doing like an amazing job with the scrubs that he's got over there. I think that his Instagram is Lawrence Amelia.
I think I follow him.
He's great. He's like an incredible guy, and he's doing like an amazing job breeding scrub pythons, and he's just like I can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. I mean, this is something that I definitely wanted to ask you. Is there any animals that you really want to work with but don't? I mean,
Venomous
stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys obviously have venomous at Nerd. But I'm guessing that's not your forte.
I just got added to the venomous permit recently. This is like this is a secret, but I just got added to the permit here recently, and I'm like one of the first people in a very long time that's not Kevin or Timmy to be on our permit. So that's pretty cool. But I've worked with the venomous stuff here before. When they're working with Lilith, I'm usually in there as backup. I've worked with wild venomous snakes before as well, but personally I haven't kept in my own collection venomous stuff, and I would love to get some like rhino vipers. I would love to get some copperheads, blacktail rattlesnakes, stuff like that. I just really love a lot of those things. Not super interested in cobras or not many elapids besides like death adders, but
Same.
I would like to work with venomous. As far as like non-venomous stuff, I want to get Moluccan scrub pythons, but I already work with other scrub pythons, so it's not like really far out of my wheelhouse. I've already got a lot of the stuff I want. I want a Bell-Says lace monitor really bad, but that's like
Does Nerd not have any bells?
One day, huh?
Does Nerd not have any bells?
We have 3 bells here.
Okay, but in your
They're
private collection.
Yeah, I don't have any in my private collection. The only monitor that I've got is Varanus Beckeri, the black tree monitor. I just have one of those. I love them. They're really cool.
I would kill someone for a tree monitor if I'm being honest, but they're probably too expensive. Even a hitman job probably wouldn't get me to afford one. I mean,
I don't know. Over here, you can get captive bred green tree monitors for like $1,000.
No way.
Yeah, so that's what, like 750 euros or something like that.
Yeah, that's about that. But over here, the cheapest I've seen a green tree was 350, 300,500, 300,000.
What?
Whoa, hold on, 3,500.
That's wild.
And the cheapest blue tree I've seen is 2,500. Haven't seen any black trees nor yellow trees for sale. But it was interesting. The one place I saw the blue tree monitor for sale, I asked them like some questions about the animal, and they were like, well, actually, you need a permit for these because these are the most venomous lizard in the world. And I was big confusion for a second there. And I was like, sure. Yeah, that's definitely correct.
Yeah.
I couldn't be bothered to argue with them about it. So I just left it.
Yeah. I would say that they're not the most venomous, but I'm pretty sure that Brian Greg Fry did some research, and I think that a lot of the tree monitors are considered mildly venomous now. I got bit by one of the Beckeri on my wrist right there, and for about 30 minutes I was like cold sweats, nauseous, like almost vomited, and it was very intense. And that's the only time that I've ever been bit by one. I've been bit by other stuff.
Actually, my Savannah monitor, he nailed me good. I mean, he really chomped me once. And I had actually a similar thing. I got really like wheezy and I kind of dizzy in my head. And honestly, talking to other people, I know Brian Barczyk felt that when he was bitten by his black throat. I saw one of his
Black
videos.
throats are definitely venomous, but I know that those are on the list of stuff that has modified salivary glands to be venomous.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of hard to actually talk to someone about it because there's kind of only two sides of the options from what I've heard is either all monitors are mildly venomous or only Komodo dragons are mildly venomous.
Yeah. I think that it's kind of it's a slippery slope kind of situation because when people who make the laws and the regulations, when they see venomous, they think cobra, black mamba, king, like everything that's going to kill you if it bites you. When in reality, a lot of the things that are venomous aren't lethal to humans. So it's one thing for an animal to have modified pre-digestive enzymes in their saliva that can cause them to what's up? You want to come say hi? I can't even see because I just closed out of Google, but it's Jeremy.
Hey.
Nerd. I'm on Tarantula podcast.
Oh, word.
Yeah. Most of the species that are, venomous are not dangerous to humans. But when lawmakers see venomous, they are like, you need to ban it because it's going to kill everyone. And
Right.
In reality, they're not looking into what it actually means and what the practicality of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I would love to get some Gila monsters. I mean,
I love Gila. We have
venomous lizard. I mean, they're venomous, but
lizards too.
They're not that venomous. I mean, I've been bitten by one. It's not crazy.
I've
it
never
definitely
been
hurts.
bit by
It doesn't feel good, but I mean, I would say similar venom to like an old world tarantula, maybe a little bit less.
Really, really painful.
Yeah, that's kind of it. It's really painful. When I got bit, it got really red, swelled up a bit. But that's about the extent of it. I would love to get one of those, but I don't have space at the moment.
yeah,
I gotta figure those prices are crazy over there.
Yeah, I found a few Gila monsters for like around the 500 price range. 500
wow, that's wild.
I'm pretty sure they were wild caught. I'm not 100% on that, but I doubt they were captive bred. I know one person who I bought my Tegu from. She does. I don't know if you know her, Renska Lugman.
I don't know if I do.
She's like the only Tegu breeder in the Netherlands. And she also works with black dragons, and she does some work with caiman lizards and Gila monsters. And dude, the cheapest baby I saw from her was like 2,500 captive bred, 2019.
There was a couple of years ago. There was £700 for a captive bred pair. So
wow,
yeah,
over here,
easier.
Gila monsters are usually like $1,000 to $1,500 each, and then the beaded lizards you can get for like $500 each.
I honestly like the beaded lizards more, but
they get bigger.
They get bigger, but I like the Gila monsters because they're kind of more classic,
Yeah, I like the color and pattern on the Gilas better.
The beadeds are much darker, which I like as well.
Yeah, we've got both of them here at Nerd.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to get into venomous snakes. I do work with some really venomous scorpions at the moment, but venomous snakes is something I would love to get into. But honestly, like that won't be for a long time, you know.
Yeah, it's best to get a lot of experience before you go into it. I know a lot of people in the U.S. They're just like, I want a cobra, so they go out and buy a cobra, and it's like, it took me probably 10 years of working with snakes before I felt I had a good enough read on like general snake body language that I feel like I could really work with venomous stuff and not have to be constantly worried that I'm going to make a mistake and get bit. Especially where there's so many different kinds of venomous snakes and their body
Right.
structures are different and the way that they move and strike is different. If you don't understand those nuanced things, it's very easy for mistakes to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if someone came up to me and said, I work with venomous snakes and they've only touched like a baby squam, I don't really count that because like wait till you work with a cobra, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a different universe,
Yeah, Elapids are a completely different galaxy than than a little, a Theris.
But I mean, I don't know. The annoying thing in the Netherlands, I mean, it's kind of annoying, kind of not, but it makes it hard for me to control myself. But there's no laws at all with reptiles and invertebrates. So I can go out and buy a saltwater crocodile for 300 euros right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, it used to be like that in New Hampshire, in the state that I'm in right now. They didn't really have regulations besides, venomous snakes. The crocodilians are all legal. Right now, New Hampshire is very lax. If it's not a venomous snake that can kill you, a venomous lizard like a Gila monster or beaded lizard, or a crocodilian, if it's not any of those three things, you can have whatever you want in New Hampshire. There's no permits, there's no anything. So every monitor is free game. Just about anything you want. Rear fang venomous, boiga, all that stuff is perfectly fine to own here.
I would love some boiga.
Yeah, we can keep boiga. We can't keep African vine snakes. We can't keep a lot of stuff here, but that doesn't stop people anyway.
Yeah. It's easier here for us because my state, venomous snakes are illegal. But if you drive 6 hours to the Pennsylvania Reptile Expo, there's no regulations on exotics there. So there's people selling Nile crocodiles for a couple $100, king cobras for $500, black mambas for $500, monocle cobras for $100. So if you take a road trip, you could literally just buy whatever you want. It's like,
yeah,
a lot of people do it.
Actually, here's the same in the Netherlands. No laws on venomous. I think there is one law. It's kind of vague. There's not really any solid like research or not research, but articles you can find about it. But any snake over 4 meters needs some kind of like government regulation. 4 meters would be like, retic, berm size, anaconda, stuff like that. That's like 15 foot, something like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. I mean, I could find a king cobra for 150. Pick it up, bring it home. There's not even age requirements. There's not even age requirements. I mean, I'm underage. I could still get one.
That's crazy.
But for a 4 meter snake, is I don't know, vague. But in Germany and Belgium, which are our neighboring countries, have fun trying to get any reptile, honestly. I mean, there are so many regulations there. No snakes over 3 meters, no venomous, no crocodilians, no large monitors, no rear fang venomous stuff. Even certain species of centipedes are outlawed there.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's wild, because when I think of Germany, I think of like the Ham Expo and all the crazy stuff that goes on there.
I think it's certain parts of Germany. I mean, I don't really know how it works. I haven't done a crazy amount of research into it, but I know some people in those areas who have told me about this stuff. I haven't done any research looking into it myself. But yeah, I don't really know how it works, but had people told me that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can reload just so I can get my camera so I can see you guys. Hold on just a second.
Give me one second. I have to go to the toilet. If he comes back, tell him I'll be back in a second.
This is latched. If you can't see that, that's a European medical leak had recently. I didn't expect that to happen at all. So yeah, that's annoying. I'm gonna have to bleed for another hour, a few hours after this. Yeah, he's just gone to get a drink quickly, but
Oh. Listen. Got our incubators, more incubators. Stuff. Some bowel water monitors that are about to hatch out.
awesome. Yeah. So, what's it like working at Nerd? Because I can imagine it's like nothing you've done before.
I managed a reptile facility for 3 years before I came here, so it was a much smaller scale, so it wasn't as crazy as here. But I'm very used to being around, all kinds of reptiles all day. A lace monitor. So the volume here is wild. There's 12 rooms, or probably like 10, 11 rooms of animals. We got iguanas walking around. We got monitor rooms. We got birthday party rooms. We got ball python rooms. There's a little bit of everything here, so it's definitely something that'll keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Just to answer a question in chat here. Yeah, this does feel weird. This is a European medical leech. And I didn't intend for that to happen at all because it fed recently. Yeah.
This is bearded lizard, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This is my biggest animal right now. It's my tegu.
Nice.
She's a couch potato.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not taking out the lace because I don't need to get bit.
Yeah, I would love to get a lace monitor, but I don't really have 10,000 euros laying around.
Me either.
Yeah.
The girl I got my tegu from, she also breeds crocodile monitors.
Oh, cool.
She just got a clutch of, I think it was 6 eggs or something.
Nice. I've tried breeding the croc monitors here at Nerd, but our building just stays too hot for them. They need to be able to cycle cooler than we can allow them here. I've gotten our female to lay eggs twice, but both of the times she held on to them too long past the point of viability, and when she laid them, they were already bad. So I'm close, but not close enough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's tricky because you guys are also in a situation, I'm guessing, where all the rooms are probably around the same temperature, and you're not going to build like a separate room for these animals.
We are working on we're probably going to be renovating our pet store downstairs and turning it into more naturalistic enclosures and big like zoo-like displays, like with the rock in it and water features and all that sort of stuff, so we can have our caiman on display, have a nice big, we're planning like a 12-foot by 10-foot by 12-foot enclosure for our caiman. We're planning a big Amazon basin exhibit. We're planning a exhibit for rattlesnakes, the timber rattlesnakes, some of our rhino vipers, gaboon vipers, things like that, so that we can have some really cool stuff on display. And if we do want big croc monitors,
deal.
What?
Kind of like a reptarian deal.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like that.
That's cool. That's like my whole dream would be to open up a kind of reptile zoo like that, and just educate people and get to work with all these crazy animals.
It's the way to do it. Education is the future.
Definitely. I mean, Yeah, I mean, honestly, it literally is the future. Without education, we don't get any new generations into this hobby.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mm.
most people remember the first time they got to pet a really big reptile. You know, the first time that you really get to hold something big is always going to make a big impression on you.
Yeah, I remember the first time for me, it was my 6th birthday, and we got these people to come in, and they bought this albino Burmese python. And it was like 15 foot long, and they put it around me and all my friends' necks, and we were like standing in a line with this giant we were holding, you know. Yeah, that was really cool.
Hell yeah.
You guys still work? I mean, obviously you guys have crocodile monitors and Nerd, but like,
Yeah.
I know you guys have that one big male. I've seen in a couple videos.
Mhm.
Like, how many other individuals do you guys have?
We've got 4 that are young. So we've got 4 that are like probably 3.5 foot. So they're like young ones that are like the ones we imported as fresh babies. We've got 4 of those. We've got 3 that are in the mid-size range, like probably between 4 and 6 feet. And then we've got 3 that are adults right now.
That's cool. I would love a croc monitor, but those are even more expensive here. I mean, really expensive here. I mean,
they're too dangerous for me. I don't. Their bites are ridiculous, and they're high strung. A lot of them, so it's tough to justify the amount of risk to keep one of them for me.
definitely. Also, just the size requirements they have, you know.
Huge.
I mean, doesn't males get longer than Komodo dragons?
Yep. Yeah, we had one here back in the day that was probably 10.5 or 11 feet long. It was huge, massive.
I saw a photo. It's probably edited. I don't know, but it was of a 15-foot long crocodile monitor.
Wow.
And that's what introduced me to the species, and I wanted it so.
15-foot croc monitor would be something terrifying in person.
Yeah, I mean, they are just such. I don't know, man. It's hard to put it into words, you know.
Yeah, for real. Tegu's getting into trouble now.
Yep, exactly.
Even just the 4-foot individuals that I've personally worked with, they're something else. Like, yeah, they're semi-arboreal as well, so their claws are nasty as well.
Yeah, horrible.
That just
They
makes
can
them like
hurt
even
you
more
without them even
terrifying.
realizing they're hurting you.
Yeah,
I got
not
a
only.
couple marks.
Oh, dude, and I think my scratches are bad. I mean,
That
not
was
only
it
is
was
it
just climbing on me. It wasn't even like scared or
right.
anything. It was just like giving you one of those, and
Yeah. Yeah, my Tegu's nails, they're hard to keep in track, even with rooks in the cage. I mean,
yep.
yeah. They are something else. I don't think I will ever keep one. I just don't know if I'll ever be ready for it. I mean, Tom Crutchfield, he's an example of what a not even a bite can do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a quick little.
exactly.
Whew.
I would compare their bites to like a 15-foot crocodile.
Yeah, it's
Like when it comes to
it's gnarly.
the amount of damage they'll cause you, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's horrifying, but I still love them. Definitely one of my favorite lizard species. Just the way they look is amazing. Yeah. I had another question for you. If you could only keep one individual reptile, only one for your whole life, what would it be?
My scrub python, Janet.
Scrub python.
I love her. She's the best. Like, she's just the best. I got her when she was like a little tiny hatchling, and then now she's probably like 10 or 11 feet long. I've like slow raised her up, and she's just like the best snake ever. I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, Heather, who's in the chat, asked me to bring her up earlier.
She's cool. I got her tattooed on my chest. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little scrub python.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's something else about the about the head scales on them.
Oh, they're just giant. They're like a king cobra, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
down the end of the tail is all netted, just like a king cobra. They're just like they're the best.
I
Yeah.
think the best looking snake is a Western green mamba.
Yeah, the
Cool.
Jamesons with like the green netting on them. Those are
Yeah.
cool.
With like every single scale has like this thick black line dividing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just I could look at when I first saw a photo, I thought it was photoshopped. It was like unreal.
Especially if you see the Easterns before you see the Westerns, it's like, oh, this thing's all green. That's kind of cool. And then you see the Westerns, it's like, oh, look at all this, netted patterning all down them. They're so cool.
Exactly. It's like not even patterning because it doesn't even go on the scales. It's like in between the scales, which makes it awesome snakes, man.
Yeah,
Really.
for me, favorite snake has to be Sanzinia madagascariensis, the Madagascar tree boa.
We have Madagascar tree boas here.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. I love the tree boas. Well, yeah, I love boas, but boas and arboreal snakes for me.
Yeah.
I love the basins. The basins are amazing.
Yeah.
Man, I would love to get a basin, but cheapest one I've seen over here was, I think it was like 750, 800.
Damn.
I haven't even seen one.
I mean, I've actually seen some decently priced green trees over here. I found a what was the locale of it? I forget what locale it was, but it was $250, which is pretty
Yeah.
decent. Really not bad prices for them. Yeah, those are just so nice.
The one thing I have against like green trees is they'll just ruin their face in a grass enclosure, from what I've seen.
They definitely can if they don't feel like their needs are being met.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animals like that where like they're so sensitive that if their needs aren't met to the exact, they just like ruin them, They just like it intimidates me, I mean, yeah, it's just I know I always feel like I'm gonna fuck something up,
Yeah.
Diamond pythons, those are so high on my list. Oh, those are wicked. Is that what locale is that green tree?
This one right here is an Aru, and she's like a hormonal blue, so you can see she's turned almost like mostly blue. That girl up there is a Biak Craw. And then we got another Aru down the hallway.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple designer ones in this enclosure over here.
So how many rooms of animals does Nerd have?
Up here we've got 10, I think.
Jesus.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you guys also socialize all your tree stuff.
Some of them are workable, some of them aren't. The basins tend to be really easy to work with. The green trees are hit or miss. The Madagascan tree boas, the Sensinia are great.
Yeah, that's the thing. People like Corrales. People see Amazon tree boas and emerald tree boas as being nasty, mean snakes. It's when people get bitten once and they say, "No, I'm not working with this animal anymore."
Yeah, and the northern emeralds definitely are a bit more temperamental, but the basins are pretty decent to work with.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it always kind of annoys me when people have a snake and they're like, I want to hold it, but I'm scared to get bitten.
Yeah. It's like, why'd you get it?
Exactly. Like when it comes to reptiles, like you're going to get bitten. Even my tegu, I mean, you can see like she's super chill animal. Oh, puff adder. Amazing. I mean, yeah, you can see my tegu super chill, but she's still bitten me a few times,
Yeah.
Like if you keep reptiles in inverts, just expect to be bitten.
Yeah, but I do that in by a fair few snakes and animals in general.
Yeah.
But
So I know you guys have Lucifer that you guys are raising up to breed with Lilith.
Yeah.
That's a timber, right?
Yeah, I heard it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So when are you guys planning to pair up Lilith and Lucifer?
I think next season because she's sitting at like probably 10 feet long right now,
Right.
and most of our males are only about 6 to 8 feet long, and we don't want to just feed them to her because
Right.
she probably will try and eat them.
How do you guys prevent that? Like, let's say she goes for him. What do you do? I mean,
Snake hook, fight her. I don't know.
I feel like
not a
there's
whole
not
lot you
much you
can
can
do.
do, you know?
Yeah. There's not a whole lot you can do. We're gonna feed her really heavy before we introduce her to the males, and feed the males really heavy.
Right.
Yeah, because with most animals, if something bad happens, you can just find another male, but you can't do that with something like Lilith.
Nah,
Or
no. It's definitely gonna be a very nerve-wracking time.
yeah,
I bet. Especially because isn't Lucifer het leucistic?
Yes. We don't know if it's the same line of leucistic, but he is het leucistic.
That would be really hard to find another het leucistic male.
Yeah. The only other people who had them, I think that they decided to keep what they had left. So.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, Ben, do you have any other questions?
if you had to keep one invertebrate, what would it be?
It's a toss-up between two species. Poecilotheris subfusca, the Highland ornamentals, the ivories. I love those. Or Avicularia minitrix. I love both of
Right,
those.
yeah,
Those are my favorites. The two of
yeah,
them doesn't get better than that for me.
they are gorgeous animals.
I love both of them.
Yeah. For me, it would probably be, even though I don't own one, it would probably be either Scolopendra heros or Scolopendra galapaguensis.
For sure.
I've got it already. Psalmopes erminia. I got an egg sac from her recently, which is pretty nice.
Erminia are
And
the
then,
bomb. So cool.
yeah. And then what else? Oh,
Actually, just before you came on, Ben was here holding his adult female Arminia.
Whew.
yeah. It's yeah. But
Yeah.
she was
What
jumping.
are your opinions on? What are your opinions on handling inverts?
I try to be
'Cause
really hands off
that's
with most of
probably
mine.
the most controversial thing when it comes to inverts.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be hands off with most of mine. I'll handle stuff every now and again. Like, I got one Subfusca that is like just super chill. It never is nervous. It doesn't really run. It never threat displays. So that one, if it looks like it's just like when I'm spraying down the enclosure, if it looks like it's coming out, I'll let it crawl on my hand or whatever. But I generally don't handle most of my stuff. I'm hit or miss because like when I handle stuff, sometimes I'll take pictures, sometimes I won't, because it's not about getting the attention for me. And when you see
Yeah.
people who all they do is handle and post a picture of them handling every invert that they've got, I'm just like, okay, we get it. You think you're cool, like good for you. It's not about the animals anymore. It's about the person and their need to boost their ego. Where when I was posting pictures of my inverts, it's almost always just the invert or just the animal because I just like the animal. I don't really need to pull it out to stroke my ego to say, hey, I can do this. But I have handled stuff. I have posted handling pictures before, but it's not like my go-to thing.
Yeah. I think, especially with the invertebrate community, people need to realize why people choose not to handle, but also why people do handle.
Yeah. The one thing
Right.
that really gets under my skin with handling is people who take terrestrial species and then like put them on their shirt or put them on their face or something. And I'm like, you're going to kill that tarantula. You're going to kill it. Like it's going to slip and then it's going to fall on the floor. And it's going to die. Don't do that.
Yeah. Like I've
Definitely.
I do handle some of my invertebrates, but I generally don't post it online because most of my animals I handle, some are old world tarantulas, some are centipedes, and I I get why people handle, but I also don't think it should be encouraged.
Yeah, I've handled a lot of tarantulas. Almost every species that I've kept, I've handled before, but I generally just don't post pictures of me handling them. It's very rare. Like I said, I got that one Fusco that's just like super chill. I posted pictures of me holding her before because she'll literally just sit on my arm and just relax there because she's so laid back, and I know that specific animal. But yeah, the pictures of me handling, back when I was 20 years old or 18 years old, if you look on my really old YouTube channel, there's video of me handling my P. Armenia. There's video of me handling, a bunch of different stuff. But once I got a little bit older, I was just like, it's not really worth it. I don't want to stress out the animal. I don't want people to think that, every tarantula is a tarantula you can just waltz in and hold. I do educational programs where I'll bring a rose hair, like a porter and let people hold that, just because that's a good one for people to get over their fear of, and they're basically a pet rock, so they don't barely move. And I can, let people touch the leg on them, or if they're sitting on the ground, I always have people sit flat on the ground if they're going to hold it. And then, I'll put it on their hand, and then as soon as they're done, I take it right off. And that's one that I can pinch grab if I need to, to get it off of them quickly without it panicking. And so, a lot of people would probably look at that and go, "Oh, you're free handling, blah blah blah. You're encouraging people to hold tarantulas." And I always encourage people, not to hold them if they can. Use a catch cup if you can. But as far as getting people who hate spiders over their fear, there's nothing that'll get someone over their fear of spiders like holding a spider.
Definitely. I mean,
And I think
personally. Go on, Ben.
I think when people say don't handle the spider, they don't say why you shouldn't handle it a lot of the time, because most people don't care if they get bitten or not. It's the risk to the actual animal.
Yeah. I mean, and people also don't take into consideration how you could have an allergic reaction to the venom and all that sort of stuff without getting bit. There's no way to really know. And, people don't have a backup plan. If I've got an EpiPen, I know that if my airway starts to close, I've got a plan for intubation and all that sort of stuff. It's one thing, but most people don't even think about any of that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, are you allergic to bees? Well, maybe. I don't know. And it's like, you should probably think about it before you go too deep and, end up on your kitchen floor because you didn't have a plan.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I mean,
I've only
my
been bitten.
thoughts on handling I am generally like, oh yeah.
I've only been bitten by one spider.
Are you talking to me?
No.
Yeah.
I've only been bitten by one spider.
You already know.
And that was my adult female jumping spider,
Mm-hmm.
my P. regius, and it was weird. Like a jumping spider. I thought it would be probably an OBT that got me or something like that.
I have a.
You go, KJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a kind of a interesting history when it comes to invert bites. I've been bitten countless times by centipedes, I think in the 30s. And I've been bitten by one tarantula, the H-Mac, and one true spider, a black widow. But when it comes to like people handling, I don't really handle any of my tarantulas. Sometimes every now and then when I'm doing a rehouse, I'll like push it onto my hand into the next enclosure because, it's cool, it's fun, right? But the one invert species I actually do handle frequently is a few of my centipedes. And I don't handle any Asian species. That's not my thing, that's like too much of a risk. But species like Scolopendra polymorpha, I like to kind of push what I can do with them. I mean, I've had individuals where they were so insanely bitey. I mean, you put anything in the enclosure and they just attack it. And after about 4 months or so, I could be hand feeding it, I enjoy working with them in that way. And from what I've seen, that's the only invert you can do that with is centipedes. So yeah, but I'm also fully aware of the bite, I mean, I know that if I handle them, I'm gonna get bitten, and I mean, I've been bitten, like I said, so many times, so I think it's all about what you handle and how you handle it and how you advocate it,
Yeah,
I have a
The
few
only
posts of me handling, but every post I say handle at your own risk and your animal's risk. If you get bit, just be aware, like you're asking for it,
yeah, yeah. I've never been bit by a tarantula. Never been bit by a centipede. I've been stung by like emperor scorpions, but that's the only one. And then the only spider I've ever been bit by was a false widow, a false black widow. It was stuck in my shirt, and my shirt was like wrapped up, and I felt something like pinch my arm, and I was like, oh, that was weird, and so pull my shirt a little bit, and then a minute later I felt like the pinching again on my arm, and I was like, what the hell was that? So I'm like shaking my shirt and nothing's coming out, and I'm like, okay, whatever, and then I feel it again, so I'm like really shaking my shirt, and then all of a sudden this female false widow just like falls onto my
Yeah.
shoe and like scurries across the floor, and I was like, I just got bit by a spider, and that's the only time I've ever been bit by a spider, and I've handled black widows, I've handled just about every species of tarantula I've kept. I've done a lot of stuff, and that's the only one that's ever bit me. And it wasn't even her fault. She was stuck in my shirt, and it's not like I even knew that there was a spider there.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if someone says you
Mantis?
get bit by invert and they say it's the animal's fault, like
Nah.
I will get so mad. Even if
Yeah.
it's a reptile, any animal, even if it's a tiger, like if you get
Yeah.
bit, it's the animal's fault, That's
Like-
always such a strange way of thinking when people say that in my eyes. It's like,
Yeah.
The only real animal that it would be their fault are polar bears, purely because they have been known to hunt people. But
that's true.
and
I mean, haven't tigers also been known to go after people?
And
not,
anacondas will hunt people as well.
yeah,
But if you get bit by an anaconda, I will still say you're holding a sloth.
It's your fault. Get out of the water. What are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're the one trying to take a close-up photo with it around your neck.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, 90% of the people that get bitten anyway, it happens in captivity.
Yeah.
And like, I saw something. It's like most of the venomous snake bites that happen in the United States are cobras in captivity.
Yeah, like if there's any people that die of venomous snake bites in the U.S., is only on average about 5 people per year. Almost every single person in the U.S. who's killed by a venomous snake is killed by an exotic snake that they were keeping in their home. If there's any people who die from like a wild venomous snake bite, it's 1 person per year.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm sure, because the U.S. has a decent number of venomous snakes, but they don't have any like really insanely venomous snakes. I mean, they have
Oh,
the
really?
diamondback rattlesnakes, and they have the other rattlesnakes, which are the most venomous in the States, I would say, right?
Coral snakes are considered up there, but their fangs are so small, and they're just a generally smaller snake. It's really tough for them
Yeah.
to do serious
Also
damage.
very timid, much more
Yeah.
less outgoing than a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It makes sense that there's not a lot of deaths from wild snakes in the States because the ones that are really venomous, the States has really good anti-venom for it and a pretty good range of anti-venom.
Yeah. It's just really expensive.
Really expensive. Isn't it like hundreds of thousands for a little thing?
Usually, it's per vial. It's usually between $10,000 and $20,000 for a vial of Crofab, which is like the general rattlesnake antivenom, and it usually takes between 10 and 30 vials to treat a bite.
But
so
isn't anti-venom just other venoms that break down the proteins of the original venom?
it's so there's different types of antivenom. There's monovalent venom and there's polyvalent venom. The monovalent treats for a specific type. So if you've got a unique species that has a very unique combination of cytotoxins, neurotoxins, hemotoxins, they'll make a specific antivenom to treat that specific species. But for a lot of the rattlesnakes, they use a polyvalent venom, which treats for multiple different types of venom in the ways that crotalids are generally typed out. So the anti-venom it's like a big long process, but there's a lot of really cool if you do some digging on anti-venom, there's some pretty cool information out there about how they make it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really done much research into snake antivenom.
Yeah, we've only got one
Interesting.
venomous snake, the European adder. I can't remember the binomial on it, but
Yeah, same
I don't
here.
think anyone's died from them.
No, they're considered like a copperhead, where they're very mildly venomous, and they're very not super inclined to bite and all that sort of stuff.
I would love to find one. I mean, those are
That would
really
be cool as hell.
really rare here, though. Like really rare because everyone just shoots them on sight, which is really sad.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
We get them pretty common around here.
Really?
Yeah, they're gorgeous animals.
What other species do you have around there? Do you guys have the European grass snake, the Natrix?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got natrix. They are gorgeous animals as
I
well.
love those. They're so cool.
Those are really cool.
Yeah.
We don't really have many snake species in the Netherlands. I think we don't even have in the 50s. I don't even think so. Really low numbers. I don't even know all the species because I'm in the south of the Netherlands, like all the way on the bottom.
Mhm.
And all of the snakes are up high near the coastal sides and kind of like middle areas. But one thing I do see pretty often here is the legless lizards, the
Cool.
slow worms, they're called over here.
Um,
Also
they-
some
they-
species of lizards, but not much.
the North America is so much more rich for herpetofauna. It's insane. Like some of my favorite snakes, Thamnophis, the darters.
Yeah,
Those are
the Thamnophis are great. I mean, around here we just had the Eastern garters, and then the oh my goodness, I'm totally blanking on the name. It's not Great Basins. It's like coastal garter snake or something. But as far as like Thamnophis go, but the more that you travel around into the different areas, there's some really cool species of garter snakes out there.
I really like the Butler's garter snake.
Ooh, yeah.
Those are nice. But yeah, my favorite snake in the States would be the copperhead. I just love the way they look. I think it's so freaking nice.
Yeah, I
If
love
I
the
ever got a venom
translucent.
snake, it would be a copperhead or a squam.
Squams, yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah. The most venomous snake I've encountered was on in northern Zimbabwe in the highlands. It was Vitis gabonica, and it was gorgeous. They are something else.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of Ben. He lived a while in Africa, so he's seen all like these freaking awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, and they're like, the only way I could describe it is a venomous blood python. They're insane.
Yeah, pretty much. You've seen black mambas though, right, Ben?
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah, it was only a little one, and it was only briefly.
Black mambas scare the living heck out of me. I mean,
And they should.
Yeah.
There's something else.
we
get a lot of people who ask us if we would keep black mambas here, and it's like, no, not really. The education value for them is very minimal. They're not super like interesting looking, and they're like springs. They're super fast. They're long and stringy. It's not really worth it for us to have them here.
I would say the risk of you guys getting bit is like really
much higher.
And if you get bit, you're really screwed because where are you going to find black mamba antivenom in the States, you know?
Yeah, nearest place would be like Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Miami, like, are they going to be carrying black mamba antivenom?
Maybe not.
Exactly. Like, and you don't even know if you're going to make it to Miami. I mean,
yeah.
Like, it says something when even New England reptile doesn't even want to.
Definitely pastel, right?
Yeah, this has got pastel in it.
Enchi?
Yep, pastel, enchi, odium, yellow belly, granite, something.
That is a powerhouse and a half. My God.
Yeah.
Kind of pretty.
I really like ball pythons. I used to keep some. I don't really keep them anymore. I'm now kind of more interested in the more exotic snakes like arboreal stuff and boega and the rarer species. But
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I still respect the ball python grind.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I have one of my favorite snakes is corn snakes. I mean, they just don't get old. Ben hates them, and he just doesn't understand why people like them. But
I used to
like.
be like that. I used to really dislike corn snakes a lot, and I just like in the last year, I just got my first corn snakes ever. I worked my way from keeping ball pythons to Candoia to Amazon tree boas to blood pythons, short tails, all this stuff, scrub pythons, and
So,
then I'm
so
just
wait,
like,
are
I
you
want the
telling
corn
me you worked with Boland's pythons before corn snakes?
Probably technically yes.
That's funny.
I just they never really interested me. I'd see them at shows and I was like, okay, it's a $20 corn snake, not interested. And then now that I did a little bit of research on some of the morphs that they've got, like, have you seen palmetto corn snakes?
Ooh, those are wicked.
They're incredible. It's like a little
Yeah.
cowratic. It's like all white with orange and silver and red speckles all over it. Like, that's amazing. And I really love the Okati corn snakes where they're like the bright orange with the black circles and the red patterning on the inside. I think those are cool.
I'll go grab my corn snake. It's a really nice corn snake. One of the most beautiful. I'll be right back.
It's not that I dislike them, it's just I prefer a lot of other colubrids over them. Like Russian rat snakes, for example. They're
Ooh, Russian rat
basically
snakes are cool.
they're basically corn snakes temperament wise, plus they look awesome.
And they're giant.
Yeah, they're massive. They seem to be pretty common here now.
Yeah. It's one of my corn snakes. Little Okati.
Yeah.
I like the body build of corn snakes.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice.
You think you know the morph?
Is it a lavender or like a anery something?
No. It's a ghost super mask.
Oh, cool. Nice.
The ghost is the color, and then the super mask she has a really interesting head pattern, which is kind of hard to show, but I've had this one since it was like a tiny little baby.
Cool.
So yeah. I don't know. Corn snakes, I just like the way they are built. They are kind of boring, but I would love a scaleless corn. If I could get some like ghost scaleless, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like a lot of people have been like, it's the scaleless. Yeah, they become really common here. Like scaleless corns and Texas rats.
Really? I've actually never seen one available.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I really need some milk snakes.
I like the Hondurans. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. I really like the albino Hondurans.
Yeah.
Those are up there on my... Yeah, those look so good. They look like candy canes almost.
Yeah.
Really cool snakes. If I'm ever in like the New Hampshire, New England area, I definitely want to come visit Nerd. That'd be such a cool thing to see.
It's there's a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of why I like the place so much. Most breeders, they kind of work with a select few animals,
Yeah.
They work with a few species, but Nerd seems to kind of like, I don't know, they keep everything, it seems like,
Just about.
Cool. But yeah.
And a lot of breeders as well, they just like settle with one thing. Look, I've created this morph, it's amazing. I'm going to continue breeding these, whilst you guys always want to create something new. Like,
Yeah, and Kevin's always on to new projects. Once he's done it, he's usually onto something else and starting to try to do something weird and all that stuff. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If yeah, I imagine working with Kevin is interesting.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it is.
But
It's
yeah,
always something different every day.
yeah.
Right.
So is there any
Yeah.
animals apart from
Yeah, I
birds
mean,
and lambs that you wouldn't keep?
for me, like I try to keep as like many things. Oh,
What was that?
Is there any animals apart from berms and mambas that you wouldn't keep?
Lots of stuff. Lots of
Yeah.
stuff. There's more things that I wouldn't keep than I will keep.
oh, he said, "Is there any animals other than a worm that you really hate?"
Um, I don't really ever want to keep Bolin's pythons. I don't. They just don't do it for me. They're super messy. They're like a Crebo, like a Drymarchon. They like to paint with their poop, and they poop like 4 or 5 times a week. Where they just like to like smear it up the walls of the cage and onto the ceiling and all over the place. And I just really don't like that. So I'm not really interested in Bolin's pythons. Dragon snakes are another one where it's like they're super hyped online, but we kept them here, and I was involved in taking care of them, and not something that I would ever be interested in doing on my own. They're
How did
just
that
not.
go? I've heard dragon snakes are close to impossible to actually keep in captivity.
I mean, before now, people were probably trying to keep them like a ball python, where they'd like put them on aspen and try and give them pinky mice, and that's not how you keep them. When we had them here, I kept them on moss. We kept them in a really cold part of the store, and we gave them tadpoles, minnows, feeder fish, like feeder guppies, earthworms, small frogs, things like that. Those are the things that they want to eat. They don't want to eat rodents. They don't want to eat mice. They want fish, tadpoles especially. If you got access to thousands and thousands of tadpoles, go for it. You'll have a great time with the dragon snake. But for the average person, not practical. They're small, like they're adult. When they're adults, they're like that big around. They're super tiny, and they're like
Right.
this long. They're like itty bitty. They're really small. So it's just not worth it to me to have the specialized care, the specialized food, and then have a snake that's only slightly bigger than an earthworm. Like, not cool enough for me.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
hit
They
the
look
hobby
great.
too early.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
If they
yeah,
got to the size
exactly.
of a corn snake, maybe it might be different. But the fact that they're like only a little bit bigger than a hatchling corn snake just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, they look cool, but it's never something I'd ever want to keep. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, even when we had like fifth generation babies in captivity, like I still wouldn't want to keep one. They're just
Yeah.
not
Not
my cup.
interesting enough for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, they are gorgeous, and I definitely respect the people who keep them. But
Yeah, if you look up Andy Maddox in the US, I think it's Andy's Ultimate Reptiles on Instagram. He's got some, and he's had them for a couple of years now, and he's doing really well with them. And more power to him for doing it, because that means that I don't have to.
exactly. Yeah, I try to keep as much stuff as I can, because I'm the person who I know if I only kept like one species and only bred one species, I would lose interest pretty quickly.
Mm.
Not enough spice in it, I guess. I mean, I could still love the species, but it just, for the rest of my life working with a couple species is not really what I'd want to do. But it's hard to like get a wide variety of stuff,
Yeah,
It's like,
for sure.
especially with all the new morphs and all the new kind of localities and all that stuff, you just want to like keep getting all those, but then you have to think of the long run, which is tricky when it comes to animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like what a lot of people don't realize on breeding is that these animals are still a commitment. like you can't just decide to breed then and there. You're still gonna have to look after them probably the rest of their lives.
Yep. Yeah. If you don't, if you're not okay with keeping the most of the things that you produce, you probably shouldn't breed them.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, that's why I don't think I'll ever breed ball pythons, you know? It's just like I love them and I think they're really cool and I'm definitely going to keep them, but for you to breed it, you have to be really into it, you know? And
For sure.
yeah. I think that's a lot of the problem with kind of like hoarders, you know, is they decide they really like it and they start getting all these breeders and then they just decide they don't like it and they don't want to put the time into it anymore and then they have dead snakes sitting in the drawers as a live one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a fine line between, having enough and then having too much.
Yeah. And I think also a lot of people don't want to admit they've done something wrong or they've gone too far, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a whole different story is gaining the gut to say like, okay, I've messed up here. I need to fix it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I've got too
It's
much
easier
and I
to
need to
just
take a
think
step
that.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go now, but yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, most def, man. It's fun
Yeah,
talking to
man.
you guys. So
It's great
love to
meeting
try
you.
and do this again.
Oh, he's gone. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, bro.
All right, man. Take care. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.